Nowadays, it seems as if there's a lack of ideas. Perhaps you've seen this in yourself by how often you find yourself lacking for ideas, whether that's for, I don't know, a school project or for a YouTube video, for an article or for a business idea, whatever it may be. It is easy to fall into this mistake of believing everything has been done yet nowadays and that there's no ideas left and that everything you would be doing is just a different variation of someone else's idea. And I think this is wrong. And I believe I found kind of the solution for this. But before that, we have to understand what is causing this. And I think a big reason for it is that despite us having access to everything, no one else or throughout history, we really are in the best time to access different information. If I go online, I can find any book I want. You can go to these PDF libraries and you can find, if this book has been written and put in a PDF, you can find it. From whatever age, whatever year, whatever author, you can find it. And the same goes for books, goes for movies, and goes for articles, and goes, I don't know, even YouTube videos, whatever it may be. So why is it that when we have the most access to information, we also seem to have the most lack of ideas? And we seem to have just ideas that are not original and they seem that they've been done already. And it seems that there's really nowhere to go as far as doing new things. Well, the reason for this is that if you look, yeah, we have the most access of all time, but also the problem with this access is that you really are not searching for anything anymore. If you go on Instagram or TikTok, any social media, you never really search for anything, do you? It's just you open it and you scroll and these things are given to you. And sure, they're given according to your interests and what you like and whatever, but you never search for it. And so if you think about it, most people that like whatever you like, whether that's football or basketball or action movies, wherever it may be, most people are going to get most of the same content. It's like the content at the top that performs the best is sent to pretty much everyone. Yeah, and here and there you get something that's a bit different, a bit more niche, a bit more whatever. But for the most part, that's not true. Even on YouTube, somewhere that you can search and the search bar is right there, how many of us just go on the homepage and click a video there? And then after that first video, you just go on the sidebar recommendations and then you go from there. In a lot of ways, you're never really searching for anything. You're always being fed. And the problem with always being fed is that, well, first of all, you don't choose. And what is being chosen for you, it's very similar amongst everyone. And because of this, it is, in my opinion, perhaps the biggest reason why it feels hard to have new ideas. Because even when you go search for inspiration in these places, you're just fed, different versions of the same thing. And so it's easy to feel like everything has been done. It's all been worn out. There's really no option for you. Well, let me tell you a different alternative here. Because recently I went to a secondhand bookstore and it really was a kind of funky little one because very unorganized, old books, smell of dust. There was a second floor and everywhere you were inside this bookstore, you were crammed in there, surrounded by books. And when I went to the second floor, no one there, oddly quiet, oddly dark. And I just found myself looking around and thinking about, look at all of these books. And all of them so different because I looked a bit. There were so many crazy different topics from politics to esoteric things to even conspiracy theory things. And I got myself thinking, every single one of these books with such vast different ideas required a person, an author, to sit for hundreds, thousands of hours writing, editing, publishing this. Some for millions of people to read, some for just a handful of their friends and family. But all of them, such deep books, a lot of words put into this, extended these concepts. And look how many of them are around me here in different language, from different authors, different topics, from different countries. So much. If I dedicated the next decade of my life trying to read and understand all these books, I don't know if it would be enough. And when I was there, admiring all of this, getting a bit overwhelmed by this, I realized just like how many ideas there are. When you step away from just what you're fed, just what is recommended through an algorithm, look how many different things are here. Perhaps some of these ideas suck and they were poorly written. Perhaps some are the opposite. Likely, there's probably within this range a book kind of covering it all. But in that moment, I realized that there is not a lack of ideas. there will never be a lack of ideas, a lack of a gap for you to fill with a new idea, perhaps, derived from everything you've experienced and read and whatnot. But again, being there and just honestly taking books and looking at the covers, I believe for most of you, if you were to stand there and do that, not even reading anything would be enough to inspire you. The old covers, the new covers, the detail ones, the minimalistic ones. Being there, observing all of this is hard not to be inspired. And then if you go a step ahead, which I think you should do, which is actually pick up a book and read it, especially good books, then it will be impossible not to be inspired and not to have a good idea. Because I believe what is lacking nowadays, kind of closing this loop, is not a lack of ideas, it's not that you lack ideas or creativity, is that you lack inspiration, because you are searching for inspiration on a place that is void of it and that is full of Mr. Beast type of content and things that are just optimized, when what you need is the exact opposite. It is books, things that are not optimized, that will require your patience and attention and sitting there and reading and understanding and also exploring these concepts. And so if you have access to it, I think you should do exactly what I did, which is go to one of these places and just look around and then just pick something to read. Because that's the beauty of it too, when there's nothing suggesting you books or anything, and you just have to choose one for yourself, and they all seem equally important. Some are higher on the shelf, some are lower, some are behind it, but at some point, within all these thousands of books, you have to pick one or two, but then you can only read really one at a time. And confronted with this, it really, in my opinion, is gonna put you in a situation that you're gonna kind of go into the unknown. You're gonna go and explore, because nowadays, how often do you just watch the movie that is high rated on IMDb, or the book that everyone is suggesting, or it is always really, everything is really suggested to you. But what about we venture a bit outside of that, into what is not suggested, into what is not recommended, into what is perhaps gonna be bad? I've read plenty of bad books or watched bad movies that gave me great ideas. Even if it was just one page out of the 200 or 2 minutes out of the 2-hour movie, sometimes that's enough. That's all you need. Not everything, as my brother also said in a previous video, has to be optimized. A lot of times it will ruin the experience. It will ruin what you're after here, which is to be inspired. And so I do believe we just gotta venture out a bit more. We gotta just pick out a random book, a random movie. That's why it's also very sad why there's not the blockbusters type of businesses anymore. You could just go there, kind of see a cover that would appeal to you of a movie and pick it out. But nowadays, where are you gonna go? Netflix, it's all gonna be recommended to you. Even the illegal streaming websites, they also have the recommended there now. So, we are in an age where we have access to everything. And because that is so overwhelming, we kind of retreat back to just being suggested things and recommended. But let's dare a bit more, because we cannot expect to have new ideas and creative things just consuming what everyone is consuming. Logically, doesn't make sense. But to go against the grain, we have to risk sometimes watching a bad movie, reading a bad book, wasting a bit of time. But if you never risk wasting time, you can also never risk finding a good idea.